Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here to do my weekly comic book review. This review is a little late because, well, I was driving home on Friday for Christmas break, and then Saturday I kind of lost track of time because I was mostly playing. I finally got to start Batman Arkham Origins, so that was pretty much most of yesterday. Sorry about that, but I'm here now, and I'm here to do my weekly reviews, starting with Invincible number 107 from Image Comics. Pretty much, as the cover suggests, we have Monster Girl going to see her son, who is in prison, and her son reveals to her that apparently Robot may have had prior knowledge about his existence and the royal family from that other dimension they overthrowed, but Monster Girl doesn't believe him, and it's one of those is it true, is it not situations. Also, Dr. Seismic returns, but he's now this sort of lava magma creature, and it's up to Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe to stop him as he's leading, also with another magma creature who's a female, and also this giant monster that's apparently attacking the Earth. But they managed to destroy the monster, and it's revealed that Seismic and his new partner apparently just did all this so that they would know more about the Earth and kind of strengthen the other giant monsters they have to be stronger. But back to our main character, Invincible. He apparently first he's still worried about Angstrom Levy coming back, and Eve tries to get him to forget this obsession, forget about Angstrom Levy. He's gone. We can finally be at peace. Mark's not too sure about it. Then late at night he gets a call from Robot saying that the device Mark asked him to build to find Angstrom Levy is ready, and they can leave whenever he wants to. And that's where the issue ends. Alright, well, Invincible number 107, I like it. Invincible is not really your traditional superhero well, I wouldn't say not really traditional, but it's probably one of the only few well-known comics by Image, other than Spawn and Walking Dead. And, it's still a great series. I like it. I like how there's this sort of, how it's not just Mark trying to save the world. It's also more like how he's also trying to, have a somewhat normal life. In this case, he's marrying his girlfriend Eve, who's also pregnant. So he's trying to, protect them by eliminating one of his greatest threats. However, Eve tells him that, he should forget and not get obsessed about it and just worry about what he has now. So, I like that. Also, again, another strong point of Invincible is how some issues do focus on the supporting cast. In this case, Robot and Monster Girl, two of Invincible's friends, who are also kind of in a relationship. So, that's always an interesting thing, how the supporting cast can have some of the spotlight in the issue. But overall, I would say Invincible still a great issue. Obviously, next issue we're going to deal with the whole Angstrom Levy incident. I cannot wait to see how that works out, because last time we saw Angstrom, he was taken to another dimension by another version of Invincible who was much more into lethal force. Let's leave it at that. So overall, Invincible, definitely a buy. Right, next up from Marvel, Captain America number 14. Captain America and the Falcon are able to stop Nuke temporarily, but when Nuke notices that there's a reporter on the scene, he starts to freak out again. Then Cap goes pretty much full out against him, and Cap almost loses it. You can still see, Obviously Captain America still has unresolved issues with Ian's death from Dimension Z. There we go. Forgot the name, but I remembered it, so we're all good. Afterwards, though, after the fight, though, apparently Falcon did have a moment to take the camera away from the reporter, but he didn't, because apparently she brought up the fact that they're trying to again, something about free speech and stuff, and at the end, though, apparently there was a part where Cap was able to calm Nuke down. He did shake hands with him, and apparently the press used that photo to say that America was starting to use super soldiers to attack other nations. And Sorry. And the whole thing, and the whole reason that they sent Captain America was they wanted to keep it quiet, keep Nuke's attack quiet, but apparently not the case. And also, we see that Nuke was apparently under the control by someone named the Iron Nail, who's trying to sort of bring down America. So yeah, so Captain America number 14. If you want to see Captain America fighting another super soldier, then yeah, great. But honestly, I would just say borrow this from a friend. Really, I mean, it's not really buy-worthy. I mean, it's not terrible. I think it's good. It does have a lot of political messages, but I would just say right now, buy it from a friend. Honestly. All right, next. Borrow it from a friend. Okay, sorry about that. Next up, Mighty Avengers number 4, and this is a tie-in to Inhumanity. All right, Luke Cage. The issue is pretty much Luke Cage officially fixing the official HQ for the Mighty Avengers, and also Luke states that it won't be like the regular Avengers. It will be like a sort of volunteer organization, and that's pretty much only going to get its funding from like donations and stuff. And also, Falcon decides to join the team, and the amazing spider hero who you see on the cover, Blade, decides to when he visits when he goes to sees the team about how he found out there's someone trying to break into the ruins of the Inhuman city, Owlman. Luke Cage says that his costume's hideous and decides to give him Hawkeye's old Ronin costume. So now the spider hero, Blade, is now the new Ronin. And so he takes the team with him, minus Luke Cage, to go investigate Owlman. And at the end of the issue, the Superior Spider-Man shows up with with a couple of his spider soldiers and a spider mech to challenge Luke Cage for leadership of the team. Okay, one of the things I really noticed in this issue is that the way the Superior Spider-Man is portrayed in Mighty Avengers, he's a dick. That's really how I can describe it. He's just pretty much Spider-Man in this issue. He's just pretty much bitching about how he should be in charge, how Luke Cage is not a real leader and stuff. So yeah, if you're gonna buy this, so if you want to get this book because it's the only Avengers book right now that seems to have Spider-Man in it, I would say that's not a good reason to get this book. If you like Luke Cage or the Falcon or White Tiger, Power Man. Oh, by the way, the Falcon, I like how in this issue, at first, Falcon's talking to Luke Cage. He's like, so can anyone join? And Luke says, like, Cap is welcome here anytime he wants. And, of course, Falcon's like, no, I'm not here for Captain America. I'm just here for me. And so, it turns out this whole thing about, and, so Falcon kind of speaks up for himself and says, like, I'm my own hero. I'm not just always with Captain America, and Luke's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize. You know what, Sam, you're welcome to join. And right when Power Man and White Tiger enter the room, Power Man goes, oh, sweet, Falcon, hey, is Captain America going to be here? So that was kind of a funny, serious moment where it started out pretty serious characterization of Falcon, then it was a little bit of a funny moment at the end. Also, as far as how this ties into Inhumanity, I didn't get Inhumanity number 1. I should have. I really hate myself for not getting it, but them's the breaks. Pretty much, it's just really, I would say Inhumanity is just kind of a framing device for this issue, not really something that directly ties into it. So overall, Mighty Avengers, I would say if you're a fan of heroes like Luke Cage, Power Man, White Tiger, Falcon, Monica Rambeau, who's now going by Spectre. She was the former Captain Marvel and also Photon, or Blade. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm coughing his name. Everyone knows. Yeah. So pretty much, if you're a fan of those heroes, I would say get this book. If you think this is an Avengers team that's going to feature Spider-Man, if they're going to make him, and I get that Dr. Octopus is very arrogant, I get that, but this was just taken to a whole new extreme. So if you're going to want to get this book because Spider-Man's on it, I would say pass, because it's a pretty good Avengers book, but it's not really good. but it doesn't really feature any good parts of the Superior Spider-Man. So I'd say overall it's buy it if you like Luke Cage and all those other guys, but if you're still not sure, just borrow it from a friend. Alright, now it's time for DC Comics, starting with Superboy number 26. That's right, I've put Superboy back on my pull list because starting with this issue, the book is now being written by Marv Wolfman, who, if you don't know who Marv Wolfman is, he's pretty much he's one of the most well-known writers you may know him from his New Teen Titans run, where he was the one behind the Jews contract storyline that made Terra a traitor, also made Dick Grayson Nightwing, and introduced Jericho. And also he did write Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, you know, obviously they got a good writer to work on this book now. And also, starting with this issue, Superboy is no longer featuring the clone Kon-El. It's now going to feature Lois Lane and Superman's son from the future, named John Lane Kent. And if you read the last issue of Teen Titans, I believe it was Teen Titans number 25 or the Teen Titans Annual. After Superboy was teleported after Kon-El was teleported to the Return of Krypton story arc going on in action, Beast Boy and Rose Wilson of the future replaced John Lane Kent's costume with Superboy's and tricked the Titans into believing that it was Kon-El. In this issue, John wakes up. He finds himself. He finds Wonder Girl in his room. He attacks her, but then he stops and starts to realize that the Titans think that he's Kon-El. So he kind of lies about his identity, and he's sort of recovering after his fight with Superboy. And after the Titans leave because they have to deal with stuff with Bart Allen. Again, they're all in the future right now because of what happened in Forever Evil when they got sucked into time. Long story. Anyways, back to Superboy. Right after the Titans leave, John decides to head down to the lab where they have his DNA, where they scanned his DNA so he can destroy the test results and not blow his cover. On his way, though, we get to see that John is a lot more powerful than Superboy, and I mean that he can use his tactile telekinesis in ways you didn't think. Like he can throw people off balance. He can also apparently bend the light around him to make him invisible. So that's pretty interesting. And right when he gets down into the lab, he kills the person in charge, then looks at the medical records, alters his DNA, checks his DNA, and also he does check his DNA lineage in this one, because apparently he checks his own DNA to tell him who his parents are. First off, they tell him that his dad is Superman, but who his mother is, they don't know. They pretty much just say it's unidentified. The human DNA is unidentifiable. So, and after he does that, he decides to learn more about Kon-El's backstory, and since they're in the future, he can find out some other stuff. So John learns that apparently in 1,000 years, Kon-El will help form the Legion of Superheroes. And also throughout this entire issue, John is guided by this sort of telepathic voice in his head. So no idea what that is yet. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens in Superboy number 26. Okay, I would say right now it is interesting. I think John Lane Kent is an interesting character because he's the son of Superman and Lois Lane, but he was raised by Harvest into destroying metahumans because Harvest is from the 30th century, and he wants to destroy all metahumans before they ruin his future. And also we know that John is sick because of his. If you read Superboy 19, you know that John was apparently ill because of his DNA, because of the mixed match of his DNA, sort of just killing him from the inside. So a cure wasn't found yet, but maybe it will be. Maybe that's something what Marv Wolfman wants to do while he's writing this book. Also, the thing about Kon-El forming the Legion of Superheroes, I think that's interesting too, because the Legion isn't around anymore. So who knows what's going to happen. Also, Also, that voice that's guiding John in this book, I think it might most likely be either probably Saturn Queen from the Legion of Supervillains, because at the end of on the last page, there's a teaser that says Superboy and next issue, Superboy and the Evil Legion. So it might be the Legion of Superheroes kind of guiding John Kent to help them out. Also, I think one of the things that they might do with this character is try to redeem him, sort of make John realize how Harvest's goals are wrong, and how they are here, how metahumans can help people and stuff. So I think that might be something Wolfman might want to do. Honestly, I would say Superboy number 26, since we are off in a new direction. I'd say this is a good jump. Not really a good jumping on point per se. I mean, it's good if you haven't read the title in a while. It does kind of recap it, but I think to get the full story of how the whole Connell, John Lane, Kent switch occurred, you may have to go back and read Teen Titans issues 24, 25, and annual number 2. But overall, I would say Superboy number 26 right now is just borrow it from a friend, because I've tried to get into Superboy for a while now, since the beginning of New 52, and it hasn't really worked out well for me. So I would say, I can't really say buy Superboy right now. I would just say borrow it from a friend. Okay, next up, Nightwing number 26. The issue opens up with Nightwing recovering a stolen element, Canium, from Molly the Mimic, and of course she's a mimic. She mimics all of Dick Grayson's acrobatic moves. Dick is able to recover the Canium, but unfortunately, Molly gets away. Later at his new job, working at a restaurant, which is also a big cop hangout, Dick Grayson overhears that there's another shipment of Canium coming in, and so he decides to head over there to stop Molly from stealing it. So Dick heads over there, he fights Molly, and then we find out that apparently she's in league with the Mad Hatter. Excuse me, and Mad Hatter hints that he had something to do with Molly's creation, because he states that she was his favorite Alice. Of course, we all know the Mad Hatter has an obsession with Alice in Wonderland. Okay, Nightwing number 26. Pretty interesting start off. Pretty interesting issue. First of all, things have changed for Dick Grayson's personal life. The two roommates he had when he first moved into Chicago have apparently moved into a bigger apartment with three bedrooms. Also, that can be a little bit of a problem for Dick, because when he goes back to his apartment after his first encounter with Molly in this issue, he tries to open. Apparently, his window is locked, even though he left it open, so he can't sneak into his bedroom. So instead, he has to go to the roof. But luckily, he had a stash of emergency clothes up there to change into and head back down. And so when he talks to his roommate about it, he's like, "I left my window open." And she says, "Yeah, but we wanted to turn the heat on." So that was an issue. And also, Dick's other roommate helped him get the job at the cop restaurant, so obviously that was a good. So that was obviously a good thing. I think that's really something. I really think that's going to be, since Nightwing's now in Chicago, that's something that Kyle Higgins wanted to play with, was Dick Grayson now having roommates, especially since he lost all his money at trying to bring back the amusement mile back in Gotham. But now he kind of needs the extra help with the roommates and everything. So that will be. That's very interesting to see in the Nightwing title. Also, what does the Mad Hatter have to do, and how does he play a role with Molly the Mimic, so to speak? That's something interesting. But I really think one of the positive, the more enjoyable things of this issue were the roommate situation with Dick Grayson, because it's always hard if you're a superhero and you have to keep your secret identity from the people you live with. So that'll be very interesting to see. Nightwing, I would say, still a buy. Definitely a very cool series. Next up, Justice League number 25. In this issue, we finally get some background on Owlman. We learned that apparently on Earth 3, Thomas Wayne Jr. And his brother Bruce apparently had a plan to shoot and kill their parents, and in crime, Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. However, though, Bruce doesn't want to kill his parents, and he tries to back out. Then Alfred shows up and he shoots Thomas Sr. and Martha Wayne. Then he shoots Bruce, and pretty much at that moment, so that Thomas's plan can come to fruition. And also, we learn how Thomas Wayne Jr. met that world's Dick Grayson. Apparently, he had something to do with the Trapeze Act that killed the Graysons. And also on Earth 3, apparently Dick Grayson had a sister, so she died too. And at that moment, Thomas Wayne did it so that he could establish some sort of connection with Dick Grayson, so that they could sort of become friends, and then mentor, mentee, and then what Thomas believed was that they were brothers. So, but back on what's going on the Prime Earth right now is that Owlman has, when in Chicago, when pretty much all the crime lords are meeting, Owlman attacks them. Then he pretty much has Frank Bertinelli. Galvanize what's left of all the gangs and tell them that they're going to work for him through Frank. And back in the remains of the Watchtower, Owlman goes to talk to Dick Grayson, and he tells him that basically that the reason that right now Ultraman is vulnerable since the supply of kryptonite is limited. So he wants, and Owlman pretty much says to Dick, like, there are pretty much two options left. Either I take over the world, or Ultraman does. And if he does it, then we're all screwed. So Dick agrees to help him help Owlman stop the crime syndicate. And apparently this whole conversation is overheard by Superwoman, who's right outside the door. So yeah, I would say if you're reading Forever Evil and you don't know which comics that have the Forever Evil banner on them, like if you're not sure which tie-ins you want to get Justice League. Because so far, last issue we told us more about Ultraman's background. Now we have Owlman. Seriously, right now, if you're reading Forever Evil, Justice League is the tie-in that you want, because I get the feeling this title is going to tell us more about each member of the syndicate's background, as well as probably Earth 3 itself. That is very cool. I mean, this is pretty much the definition of a comic book event tie-in right here. It tells you pretty much all the stuff you don't want to cover in the main. And when you want to keep the main series focused on the plot, you can use these to sort of just reveal other background information. In this case, the origins of each member of the crime syndicate. So that's pretty awesome. And right now, Forever Evil, definitely a very cool event. So read Forever Evil, and also if you want to get a tie-in, get Justice League. Definitely a buy. Okay, the last comic is Batman number 26. Pretty much, continuing from last issue, Dr. Death attacked Lucius Fox, and Bruce Wayne was also there and visiting Lucius. And fortunately, though, the reason last issue Lucius attacked Bruce was to kind of knock him out and hide him so Dr. Death wouldn't see him. Unfortunately, though, Bruce does try to save Lucius Fox, and Dr. Death attacks. And of course, there's a fight between the two, and Dr. Death apparently is stronger from the serum he took, and he's about ready to crush Bruce's skull when suddenly Jim Gordon shows up, and with the other cops from the GCPD, and they are able to sort of get Death. And unfortunately, though, Dr. Death does go away, but when Bruce wakes up, he's in a hospital bed, and Alfred handcuffed him there so that he wouldn't, be tempted to go, so that he wouldn't escape. Sorry, and right then, and of course, not only is Alfred there, but also Jim Gordon, who wants to help Bruce. He says, like, Bruce, if you're withholding information, please tell me. I mean, we could probably work together and solve this, but Bruce refuses, because apparently when Bruce was younger, one day he was playing hooky from school, and back when Commissioner Gordon was a regular uniform cop. He found Bruce in the theater and during a school day, and he took him. And Gordon and his partner were going to take young Bruce back to his parents. On their way to stop, though, apparently Gordon's partner went to a clothing store, then came out with 2 very nice trench coats, which is the secret origin of how Jim Gordon got his trench coat. So, and apparently, when Gordon was talking to young Bruce, it wasn't just the store they stopped into. They kept making other stops, and Bruce asked him, like, why are we making so many stops? And Gordon says, well, we just want to make sure that people are safe and that they're fine. So, and apparently what adult Bruce believes is that they were just corrupt as all the other cops going around, and that the reason they got that stuff was because they were, like, asking for protection and stuff. So, right at that moment, Bruce tells him, like, you know, tells Gordon, like, basically he's just another dirty cop, and then he breaks out of the handcuff on the bed, and leaves with Alfred. So after the hospital, Bruce decides to Bruce gets his Batman suit on, and then decides to go see 2 other Wayne scientists who were in the same lab group, I believe, as Dr. Death. But unfortunately, when Bruce arrives at the lab they're working at, they're all dead, and shortly after that, Batman's confronted by a squad of Gotham City police officers, and of course they assume that Batman's the one who killed them. So they and the issue pretty much ends with them opening fire on Batman. And that's pretty much Batman number 26. Okay, so at some time during the secret origin of Batman, we get the secret origin of Jim Gordon's trench coat. I actually like the way they wrote the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon in this issue. I thought that was very, very interesting. How initially Bruce Wayne didn't trust Jim Gordon, probably any more than Jim Gordon didn't trust Batman. So that's very interesting, and also how previous origins have always said that, like, Jim Gordon was the one good cop left in the Gotham City Police Department. So now seeing Bruce saying he's just another dirty cop is very interesting. But I think there's going to be another side. But we heard Bruce's side of the story. We didn't hear Jim's yet. So I think that's something that we're going to hear in another couple of issues or so. Can't wait to see that. Also, not really much is going on with the whole Riddler and the Blackout yet. So far, the only hints we've gotten about that were just after Bruce left, another cop hands Jim Gordon a card from the Riddler, and also just a mention of a huge storm that's going to be headed towards Gotham. Those are pretty much the only things that were brought up. During that probably pertain to the whole overall Riddler Blackout story arc. But that's not really touched on this issue. That I think is really something that they should kind of focus a little more on. But hopefully after next issue, Batman catches Dr. Death, and we can kind of focus back on what the Riddler's up to. But right now, Batman number 26. Batman, still a great series by Scott Snyder. Great Capullo's art, very amazing. This series is still definitely a buy. Okay, that's it for me. Okay, so that's it for my comic reviews. Also, this is something new I'm trying to do for my comic reviews. Comic question of the week. This week, with pretty much the whole redemption of John Lane Kent, I want to ask, what is a favorite character of yours that has gone through a sort of redemption? Okay, it can be anyone. It can be either a villain who was turned into a hero, or someone who initially started out as, or someone like, say, Hawkeye, who was initially a crook but then became one of the biggest well-known Avengers ever. So, characters like Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, that sort of stuff. That sort of redemption in a character. Like, they started out off as terrible but then became good. So that's pretty much what my question is. Comment below, please comment below whether or not about what you think. Also, thanks again for watching my video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.